At the climax of the rock and roll revolution in the late 1960s, a new designer emerged on the scene that would forever change the way we view urban prep. I'm fashion editor Gregory Deli Carpini Jr., and today we're sitting here with the great Mr. Tommy Hilfiger. So when did you get the itch to first go into fashion?
I was 18 years old when I opened my first store. I opened it based upon my love and obsession with rock music. I was in love with not only American rock, but British rock music. At that time, The Who, The Doors, Hendrix, The Stones, The Beatles, Led Zeppelin, lots of those types of groups were really at the forefront. I figured out very early on I wasn't going to play music, but I loved the way the rock stars looked. So I decided to open a shop and sell like hippie rock and roll type clothing in upstate New York. So I sold fringe vests, very cool bell bottoms, like platform shoes, and it sort of propelled me into building my own brand.
What was that like to go from being a child who admired musicians so much to working with so many of them?
Well, it was an interesting experience. It still is, because we're working with people like Katy Perry, Adam Levine, a lot of different musicians today. And they're just as interested in fashion as they are music. And I think that if you look at the big stars over time, they were not only music icons, but fashion icons. From Michael Jackson to Elton John to Madonna. My love for music and my obsession with musicians and rock style has been very organic and very natural from when I was a child.
So tell me a little bit about your upcoming Spring 14 collection.
Spring 14 collection is really inspired by the West Coast, from Melrose to Malibu. And it's about surf, it's about skate, it's about sport, it's about lifestyle. And it's very influenced by the 70s. And if you look back at the Beach Boys and the surfers in the 70s, there was a certain look, a certain attitude that they carried. And it was very, very California-based. Even the West Coast bands, if you think of Crosby, Stills and Nash, you thought of Jefferson Airplane, even Hendrix and Joplin and the Doors were playing all the clubs up and down the West Coast. And there was a surf culture that was very, very cool because it was so casual. It was barefoot on the beach, and it was about Hawaiian prints and about vintage sort of surf gear looking very hippie and very cool.
Well, thank you so much for letting us into your studio. This has been great. Thank you.
I'm glad you could come. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you something.